I would like to share with you just a few of the great jazz educational texts that are out there. 3 great books by Dave Liebman. If you don't know who Dave is, check him out. He's a great player, a great composer, unbelievable teacher, and smart guy. Just YouTube him, and he's probably doing 20, 30 clinics up on YouTube. Somebody probably has him up there. But Dave can explain everything. So here it is. Here's 3 of the books. This one here, the Scale Syllabus, Dave Liebman. And what Dave does is he plays through this Scale Syllabi. I think it's Jamie Aebersold on piano. There's a syllabi. You've probably seen that. Maybe you're familiar with it. They're all different scales. And Dave plays through them all. And this book was huge. This book broke things open for me, and I'll explain why in a minute. One part of this is he will show you how to drill a scale. So you play the scale up and down, you play it in thirds, you play it in triads, you play it in 7th chords, you throw some different shapes on it. Shows you how to do that, and there's a reason for that. The next thing he does, for some of these scales, he'll play them twice. He'll play it one time melodically, lyrical, and then another time he'll play it and he'll get into it, double time it, throw some rhythms on it, throw some really great shapes on it. And I remember listening to some of the modern players thinking, what are these guys using? I can't figure it out. It has this, was it outplaying? People would call it outplaying. Other people had, different terms for it, but there was a sound I couldn't understand what it was. I thought it was something advanced or like it was a whole different foreign technique that I didn't know about. When this came out, there's the B-flat major scale. I think that's the one. Dave plays it, and he plays it melodically, and it's lyrical, and I get it. And then when he plays it the second time where he gets into it, it's double timed, it's all over the place, all these angles. And I was like, that's the sound. That's the sound I was hearing, but it's a B-flat major scale. He throws so much on it. He throws so many angles and shapes on it that it doesn't sound anything like the scale at all. It's the way he approached it. So this made me realize, and this is what happens with my students, this is great for that. You realize that what you use is 5% of what we're doing. And it's not a scientific measurement. But the other 95% is how you shape things, how you make this stuff work. And that's what this shows. He gives you a couple drills to get some different shapes on it. But when Dave gets into it, you can't even, that scale, you don't even know it's a scale. And that was huge for me. And it's huge for my students when they get it, because they realize it's about drill. There's no substitute for getting a scale and just hitting this thing from every angle you can. And then it makes it more available for you when you're creating. The Scale Syllabi, and he goes through all of them. He does it on soprano, and you can get the transcribed solos for every scale. It's a book that comes along with this. You should get that too, because you're not going to believe when you look at it that it's just all the B-flat major scale. And you look at it and you say, yeah, it is. And it's great. It was an eye-opener. This book is great. It's thin. It's inexpensive. I don't even know what Jamie sells it. I don't even know what it... I don't know what it is. Oh no, I can't even find it. There's so much text on the back I can't even find it. I don't know. Anyway, excellent. So, another great book that Dave did is, actually I'm going to show you 4. This one, Chromaticism, Non-Diatonic Scales. And what this is about, is a couple things. Also, nice and lean. Okay? Comes with a CD, just like this one does. Has a CD in the back. What this one does is it does a few things. Slash chords, which can be very confusing for people. B flat over F, B flat over E. How do you come up with a scale that fits a slash chord? Dave gets into that. And he also gets into different scales you can use. So let's say you're playing impressions and D minor is your first chord. what Dave will do, he will pick a specific scale and use it, so you know exactly what he's using. He doesn't hide anything. He gives it to you. He puts it all right out front. So what he'll do is, let me see if I can find it here. He'll decide, here you go, the compression's right here, and he shows you what scales he's going to use for each chorus. So what he'll do is, where most of us would play Dorian when we're learning, Dave decides to use, like he may use D Locrian for one chorus. You see what he's going to use, you listen to it, you're like, wow, that's what it is. You're clear, it's clear, you can't be any more clear than that. He'll give you like D Phrygian, next chorus, D Aeolian, the next chorus. So what he's basically doing, he's telling you the source scales that he's using. You see it, it's here, and then you hear what it sounds like. It's I wish it was heavier, but it's that clear. And if you were to listen to him play, or if you listen to players do this kind of thing, you wouldn't have any clue. You would think it's something, at least I did. I thought it was something magical. You know, where's the secret club I can join? Where's that secret handshake I need to learn so I can be part of this club that understands that stuff? Well, Dave just broke the door down. It's all, this is one technique, but it's very clear. So this, you can't beat that. This is clear. And Dave has a ton of books out. Dave has so many books out, and they're all great. I'm just showing you what I've used with my students, and I don't use every book that's out there. I don't know every book that's out there, but I want to share with you the books that have given me success, and most of the time because they're clear and they're done right. How to Approach Standards Chromatically. This book is great. What Dave does here, once again, it comes with the solos are written out, so the solos are already in here. What he'll do is Dave will give you a technique and apply it to a tune. For example, tritone sub. So every time you see a 2-5-1 or a 2-5, we're going to put a tritone sub. We're going to pick tritone sub. He explains that technique. He explains how to use it. And then you see it applied to a song form like Satin Doll, a tune that's a standard. And you hear him play it. You look at the solo. When you look at the solo, it's all bracketed where the technique gets plugged in. You can see where he uses it. You can hear what it sounds like. You know exactly what he's doing. Once again, you're really, I mean, it takes a while to be able to play this way, and you have to practice it. But to understand it, to understand what he's doing, he makes it so simple. Upper structure triads are playing off the extensions. Let's say every time you see a chord, instead of playing 1, 3, 5, or 7, we're going to play 9, 11, 13. And what he'll do is maybe play the changes to Autumn Leaves. So when he plays Autumn Leaves, he's using the upper extensions. And you hear the way it sounds, and it works. You get it, and all you have to do is practice it. That's it. All you have to do is practice it. It happens magically. Nothing's magic. Nothing is magic. And this was it. This book is huge. Comes with a CD, a Chromatic Approach to Jazz Harmony and Melody. This book is huge. I don't know how many copies of this I have. In fact, this one is still in plastic because I wore out my other ones. This book has so much in it, a lot about superimposing. If you see chords, how do you superimpose? Dave writes it out. It's very simple. He makes it very clear to understand. He has a lot of great examples. How to play on a pedal. How do you get these sounds if you're playing on an F pedal? How F Locrian can fit into F Aeolian, can fit into F Phrygian, can fit into F Ionian, and he gives you an example. The CD comes along with it where you hear a lot of great examples. Different ways to alter 2/5s. There's so much in the book. This book is the equivalent, I think, to Persichetti's 20th Century Harmony. Vincent Persichetti put out a book that described a lot of techniques that composers used in 20th century music. That's what I think this book is in jazz. This was one of the first to go here, to go into this style of music. I don't know, maybe Dave, I think this book helped a whole generation understand more about this kind of playing, superimposing. So, for example, just really quick, because we're just going on and on here about it, is, you know, there may be, oh man, he gets into shapes, he gets into so much. He gets into, if you have an E pedal, you can play through the key of E, then go to D flat, then go to A, and go to G, you know. Because when I heard people play, like out, let's call it out playing, when I heard people play this way, I thought they were playing whatever they want. It's really very structured. It has to be organized in a way where you can control the tension. And Dave talks about how to do that. And one of the, this just flipped me out when I learned it. He gets in the back, he gets into 100 lines. 100 lines that don't necessarily lock into any kind of harmony specifically, but work based on shape, if there's such a thing called shape theory, where the shape of a line is so strong, whether it's angular or whether it has wide leaps or whether it's linear, it's so strong that it can almost apply itself over everything if you get in there and rhythmize it. You have to get the line and shape it and make it work. And it actually, if you get used to the way this music sounds and you work on it, it actually works based on the fact that it has a shape, which is a whole different kind of theory. It's really, really great. Dave, he broke the walls down with this one. So if you're playing and you feel you might be in a stalled mode and you want to break into something, or if you hear some of these players play and it's all this tension and release, and you can just tell there's something going on, and you know it's not just a basic 2/5 or a bebop lick. There's something happening. Boom. If you get this and read through it, well, almost anything by Dave's, he'll really make some things clear. And like I said before, Dave has a lot out. There's so much stuff that Dave has out. You want to check out Dave Liebman. So once again, the Scale Syllabus, great. Chromaticism, non-diatonic scales, how to play outside the stated tonality, great, right? They all have CDs with them. How to approach standards chromatically, this, really great, applying a specific technique to a tune. And this, which is like the Bible, I think, the Chromatic Approach to Jazz, Harmony, and Melody, Dave Liebman. Check out Dave. Dave is a great teacher. His stuff is clear. Man, you can't beat Dave. Smart. Dave Liebman. Check him out.